Well, today's been pretty decent, except for the sounds of what sounded like the evil wanting again still to come back and begin again. I think it was. I was looking through the headlines to begin it again. And of course, that's absolutely no. There's, heaven, everyone that we rebuked and rejected and refused and repudiated, heaven repudiates for us, rejects from me. Again, that's all over and done with. Those people were defeated by heaven in the last book. We're certainly by no means going to, I can't imagine why I would ever say yes to them in the first place, let alone the second place or the third. In other words, no, we're not interested in loving the dark side. Do we really want to love the opposite? No. Do we want to love them forever? No. We don't want to get near them. We don't want them to get near us. It's no. Like I said, I'm day, surrounded by day, going the way of the day. Just another lonely day, as they might say. And that's just fine. That's good, and it's okay. We like it that way. Being the day, without the other, without any of the kingdom of darkness, regardless of what faction or aspect they might consider themselves to be, or to what degree they're darkness. It's like, are you of the kingdom of light and life? Are you day? No. Well, it's either you are or you're not. See, or you're on your way to becoming that. It's either you are, or you're not, or you're becoming day again. As what I think that's the job, isn't it? We shine white light, and so that people can become golden again, day, right? Yes, and I'm very happy that heaven has told me that yes, my gold is going to be returned to me. It is returning to me, and I've been told a couple times that I am getting back all the good stuff that was taken, and I've been told several times it's going to be several times over. And again, well, that's great. That's fine. What about love? I heard Annie sing today. As though there's something, and there's something wrong or something you need to go back into your past and find out. Well, now look, I've made myself available time after time after time. And I've stopped and I've talked with people. And if they're unwilling to acknowledge who I am to them, if they're unwilling to acknowledge my identity as they know who I am, right? If they're unwilling to say, hey, Tom, or say, hey, who, or hey, Day, or anything that says, I recognize you, recognize me in return, then I don't understand what they want or what you think. There's nothing for me to go back into my past and fix. I have no emotional or psychological issues regarding anyone I've met or known. It is what it is. Besides, as far as I know, no one from my past actually has made it close to me ever since I tried to get home. I mean, as far as I know, they're just all actors. Same damn people pretending to be people I used to know. In other words, my past is gone as far as I know. As far as I know, they were all traitors. They were all members of the darkness. So we're not doing that, you see. And there's nothing at all in the past that I need to fix or do anything with that I know of. Why would there be? I mean, really, seriously. Let's say that the Wicked Witch was something that we were doing a project with or something, right? Well, that obviously went south real bad. And again, if there ever had been a contract, that was ended. It's completely rendered nullified once Darth Vader and them decided to team together and murder me. So we're not bothering with that. Don't come back. What about love? Don't you want somebody to share it with you? Someone, they say, to share it with you. And I'm thinking, again, we've already tried these things. It doesn't look like it works. I don't need someone to argue with me about anything. I certainly don't want somebody who's in disagreement with me. That's for sure. In other words, again, it probably has to be a white girl, not a witch, not magic, because the damage is done demonstrated everything to me that all I needed to know. Yeah, you're getting it all back. Well, we didn't, and we're walking around, going, Plus, also, it was all about some type of a war. It wasn't love. There wasn't any teamwork involved. It was all just give us everything you got, because they're the evil damn dead, as far as I know. And they went off to be that whenever they were like 22, something like that, I guess. I've seen the blackness, the clouds of darkness around them and stuff. So it's not my kind. They're not white people, are they? I remember the movie Tommy. That there was a little girl. It's this little side story they had come up with out of nowhere about some chick in some place where she knew she was worlds apart from Tommy. But they were completely worlds apart. But yet still, because of the assholes around her, they encouraged her to carry on with her obsession. And I'll call it an obsession because she was very much focused on Tommy, and with an unfounded belief that there was a possibility that they would come together because of her love for him. Of course, it didn't turn out good. As a matter of fact, I think he did something, and accidentally she ended up injured and damaged because of it. I don't know exactly what happened. I have to go back and watch that. But it was a sad story about someone trying to be with something that was way beyond them, because they were like a different species altogether. Like something black deciding that they're going to fall in love with something white, something dark of fire and darkness and all that, deciding that they're going to love and or for whatever reason be with something of light. And it would be, crazy to do that. I keep on getting the thing, when I tuned into these tarot people, it's so funny because I don't know why they do it with their cards and stuff, because they're not reading the future. I know that. They know that too. They're not practicing divination. They're telling news about the characters involved and what's going on. They're no more divining the future than the Lakota boy out there out west was on the radio whenever he announced that they're on the run. All he was doing was he was reporting to the overall crowd that was not seeing, not watching, not able to see what was happening. That's all. So you could just come up with pictures from magazines or something and scramble them all around and pick up one at a time and go, and this means that they're doing this and these things are going, and because I know all you're doing is you're taking a picture and you're applying it to the story you have to tell to make it work. But 10 swords is the ruination of all plans and projects. But here's the thing: if we ever did have plans and projects with them, it's not anything we want. Like I said, if it was an agreement made in a place in between life and death or in a dream world or something, it doesn't really mean anything or count because we don't remember it. Any contract that somebody says they have with me, but they can't show me why or where, that's not a contract. That's just the goddamn things lying more still. And heaven defeats all the lies against me. They've defeated the liars against me. Like I said, they were defeated in the last book. And this is the new book. And they were ended from me and my story. They're not following me around into my news story. They're not going to follow me to heaven. They can't go where I'm going to go because they have hate in them. That's their share. And they've hated me. So, it's just silly. Now, past that, there's these others that sound like, well, there's this other love that they really love you and this and that and so on, or something like that. I was listening to one of them today and they were talking about how, well, something happened, you did something or whatever, but they caught an energy from you or something that really, really, got to them. And it sounded like it was a physical response. And we've heard this before. That others have had that type of response. And of course, this is not a conscious thing on our part. We're not trying to consciously cause this or that or another in people. That's, again, we're sort of a force that, and a catalyst that creates a mechanism for others to see. That's the thing. You idiots want to try to tell me like you were being developed and this and that when I damn well know better. I was what I was, and I am what I am, and I'm going to be as I was, and I'm going to be what I'm supposed to be. I was already everything that I'm going to be, and I already am that. It's just waking it up. It's just powering it up. It's like the AC/DC tour. They're on the power up tour. Well, it's, the thing, I told you, the structures are already above me. They're around me, and they're below me. They just need to be filled in with the proper amount of stuff. And it all lights up. And everybody goes, oh, wow, okay. So that's just all we're doing. Are we going to have a union or a marriage with them of the darkness? Hell no. Heaven no. No, no, no. No, we've rejected and refused and rebuked them and repudiated them and repudiated all that they is and claim regarding me in every way. So there is no contract between me and anything of the damned or the darkness. There's no contract between me and anything that has tried to murder me, take all my stuff, and turn me into something I wasn't supposed to be. No, not at all. We're not here to change. I didn't come to change. That's not me. I am supposed to just be free. And free of poverties. And of every sort. I wasn't supposed to be serving the damn darkness. We don't grow in the darkness. We're not going to feed the darkness. We're not going to help evil to grow or further any of its aims. That's not what we're here for. So, no, we're not an energy source for anything that's not already me, not already they, not already loyally my team. It's just not possible. We're not going to be the energy source for anything that's against me or my plans, not the energy source for anything that's the enemy, not the energy source for anything that we've rebuked, rejected, or refuted, or repudiated, or just don't like. Because that's my choice. And I am going the way of the day because that's my prerogative. I don't have to be teamed with anything of magic. And we most certainly do not want to be teamed with anything of magic. I'm not for it. I'm for my Father in heaven. I'm for the white people. And I'm for the heaven. The skies above us. So I'm glad we got that out of the way. Amen. In the name of King of Kings, our Father in heaven. Amen. Now, because of this other love stuff, I keep thinking, well, maybe it's a white girl. Maybe it's day. Maybe it's a sunshiny kind of thing that I've known before, but yet it's still warm. And you know what? All I can tell you is for those of you whom have loved us nicely and correctly, thank you. Because there have been times where we felt pretty darn good. It's like, yay, this is pretty happy. And would have loved to have met with that person that was putting that here, giving that to us. Hold on. And you know what? We may have met with them, but there seems to be some problem in getting a communication started. There was a new person in a place familiar to me. There was a one that was different from the others and normally wasn't there. And I guess I'm supposed to look into their eyes and go, oh, you're the love. You're my love. You're the one. Oh, yeah. And while I do look at them and think, I wonder who this one is. Because they're different. And And of course, in retrospect, I'm thinking, well, I think I probably do know who it was, but I don't think I've probably ever seen them with that color eyes before. Or maybe I don't know who they are. Maybe I've never met them before in my entire life. Maybe it's someone who's completely changed from what they used to be. Yet, still, they did stand out in some way. I don't know them to be, See, that's the thing, this whole love thing. Don't you want someone to share it with you? Uh, Man, you know what? It seems like it's just cursed. The whole love thing, like, I really kind of think it's a good possibility that some of us are not supposed to do that love thing. That, in other words, they're supposed to come here and they're supposed to do their deal and say, "Hi, I'm the day, and I'm not anything other than the day. I'm not here to stay. I'm not here to get married. I'm not here to fall in love and go in love with someone," which I don't even know what love is. Do you know what they're talking about whenever they talk about love? Is that like Aphrodite, or is it because to me love is the God of heaven, the creator, the guy who said let there be light, the Father. That is what real love is, the light, the God whom is all light without any darkness in him. That's love. My gosh, that's love. Life itself, the life force itself. Whenever I get hit with a bunch of white, it's like, that's love. It's a good energy. Good. I'm really into good. I like good energy. I like good people. I like good times. I like good money. I like good wine. I like good waters. I like good air. I'm really much into good and good stuff. Not bad. And which reminds me again that I saw a video not too long ago about someone saying, there's good people here without God in their heart. Well, they might be good by some standard. They're just not meeting the standard of good. And that means they could be dangerous. You see what I'm saying? There was something set up so that people that were trying to come back could do so. They cleansed themselves in the healing rays of the sun or something like that, and they were able to come back to being day. But that did not require me to suffer and die and be sacrificed and harmed. And as a matter of fact, I'm sure I was fed by it, and that I was made better because of it. That they were making me lighter in some way. In other words, they were aiding me to be who I'm supposed to be, and in that process that was unpleasant for them, they were earning what they needed to convert back over to day, which, as you well know, anybody who's been day and or got too far into the darkness knows that over on this side of the fence, the grass is actually greener because there's daylight. You can see it's green. Over there, everything gets darker and darker and darker the further you go. I don't want any part of it. I don't even know why anybody would. I seriously don't. So, again, if somebody's trying to come back today, there's a process that you're supposed to go through that doesn't involve me directly and doesn't involve harming me. Now, I know that from what I understood, a couple of these that have hated me, they don't like the fact that those people are made hot. They blame me and say I make people hot. Well, I couldn't care less about you. I mean, I really could care less about you. And in the near future, I'm real sure, because I'm going to leave. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be leaving and not bothering with any of this because, hey, it hasn't paid me. You know what I'm saying? Now, yeah, again, I heard that we're going to get all this restored. It's all going to be fixed and everything's going to be hunky-dory. It'll be better than new. I heard that promise 7 times over. What you lost, your losses, it's going to be fixed. Well, maybe there's something that we can do. Maybe we can hang out just a minute longer or something. But for things to be like they were before, no, we're not going to be a mixed house of fire and light. This is a house of day. This is a house of light. That's all. This is the Father's house. You put it like that. We're Not that we hate the mother or anything, but if the mother is a black snake and it's all darkness, that's not for me. We're not we're not supposed to be a part of that. And no wonder that they would say in a song that it doesn't want to wear them. Well, that's because I'm supposed to be higher, right? Up in the sky where I belong. Correct? That's what, because I heard this song the other day from Kansas. Carry on, my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Well, I feel like, and maybe that's just me, my internal feelings, but it feels like I've been done for about 20 years. Certainly 15. Probably, there's only times you can say, I'm done, before it's made true. And I've said that several times. And what it is I'm done with chasing after things I can't have, or chasing after toxic things, or being made to be connected to these things that are bad, and or providing me with things that we didn't want, and acting those like they're part of my family when they're not. And because the darkness is not my family. I'm not of the darkness. I'm not of the world. I actually truly did step down to come down here. I know that. I don't, there's a record and a story about how we were born and where we were born at and to whom. And those are stories. They are stories. But that's all they are to me, is a story. It doesn't mean that any of that's real or defines me in any way. I know all that I've experienced did not define me, because I was already defined. I was defined before I came in. And evil's attempt to saddle me with all kinds of demons and this, that, and another to convince me that I'm whatever they were trying to convince me of has failed. It's failed miserably, because all the plans against me and all the manipulations and lies and weapons, traps, and mechanisms formed against me, heaven makes failed, has defeated them all and makes them ruined. They can't be reformed. They'd have to start all over from scratch to try to do any of these things. They can't, and they're not going to have the expenses to do it. My enemies can't keep up with me. My enemies can't influence me. My enemies aren't able to attack me or harm me effectively in any way. If they try, that's just going to be more damage and harm to them. It'll come back immediately, very quickly upon them, and be worse, or come back in a different way that's even worse. But because of it, I will be made larger. Heaven will make me larger. They'll raise me up again. They'll give me more. I'll be made wealthier. I'll be made bigger. The light will be increased in me. And it'll be all the opposite effects of what you wanted. I won't be held down. It won't be that I'm made small. It's going to be the opposite of that. And we're going to be very strong. And this is a house that is going to be not open to fire, not open to magic. And it will be very difficult for them to even get near, let alone land upon us, and certainly impossible to get anything in. We're not married to any of them of the darkness. Just as simple as that. I can't understand why I ever would be. I don't understand why I would. Again, the only way anything of that was even possible was if it was blessed by him in heaven. In other words, I was in charge of all of it. I was over top of it. There was no chance that I was going to be taken down by the damned that I was overseeing. And I wouldn't have to be put into, no, see, it's, no, can't see it, all this damage done. Again, yeah, I heard you, I heard you, it's all coming back. I saw another one, you're getting it all of it, and it's come back fast. Well, it'd have to, for me to be interested. I mean, there'd have to be some real miracles show up, because, you know what, I saw the hellish things done. I saw the wrongs done. I know what they did to do them, basically. I have an idea. And it was very purposeful and it was very intentional. And this thing about, again, am I tall as I was? I looked at, and there's very specific entities I'm going to hold responsible, accountable for that. So, am I interested in love with just someone? No. Am I interested in putting myself at risk? Nope. Let's see what happens. Let's see what you guys, because I've been told I'm getting it back. Been for like a long time, and instead I was getting a whole bunch of stuff I didn't want, and I don't know what's wrong with them. I don't even care anymore. I quit on this a long ass time ago whenever I tried to have a conversation, and there was no conversation. There was only the enemies doing what the enemies wanted to do. So unless somebody wants to come forward and say, hi, I'd like to talk to you, really nothing to talk about or to figure out, because it was demonstrated to me exactly what the deal was with them. And it's not a deal that's acceptable to me. I'm not going to be held down by the damned. I'm not going to be held down. I'm not going to be used by them to further their evil intentions and make the world a screwed up place. I was listening to that 10 years gone or 10 years after thing about changing the world. And again, I don't want a world that's all effed up. I don't want people that you have to constantly beat down to manage. No man wants a wife that he has to beat. That he has to keep in line like a damn dog that don't know its place. You usually take those dogs out back where the other dogs can see it, and you shoot the damn thing 2 or 3 times and let them all know that, yeah, I will kill my dogs and get rid of the damn thing. So then the other dogs behave. They understand that, no, you're not to be challenged and murdered. Being the Lion King, not even interested. Nah, why would I want a bunch of unruly chicks that were not on my side and not loyal? I'd prefer to be with humans, white people. But all the same, I would say thanks very much, but it has been very unpleasant. I'm not. Again, you people need to come forward, But now listen, I'll tell you, if it's the sunshine girl that I saw today, I don't know. I don't know who it was I was looking at, but I know it was somebody special, I guess. And if you're doing anything good for us, well, God love you. Heaven love you for respecting us and loving us in a helpful way. Whatever you're doing that's a help and not a harm. Again, heaven loves those that are not my enemies, whom are not harmful to me and are not plotting to do anything bad to me. Them that is actually aiding me in ways, I can't even quantify what they do, and I don't even probably want to know. All I know is that I know they're going to be rewarded because they were loyal. They weren't trying to play both sides of the fence, and they weren't going to help the evil people do evil things to me. They weren't going to say, yeah, you can come in my house and do that, because no, that's disloyalty. That's playing both sides of the fence. That's you're not on my side if you're helping them. So, guys, you got to make a decision, whoever you are, wherever you are, and that's just going to be that. Again, he said they're either for me or they're against me, or you are either for me or against me. And I thought that's really just too black and white, too cut and dried. And in essence, though, I do believe it's true, because either you're leaning towards light and all that he represents, and that's what you really want, whether you know it or not, okay? Or you're the wicked. Now, if you look up the wicked, you'll find out that these are people that they enjoy being evil. They enjoy doing evil. They enjoy doing things. They derive a sense of satisfaction of some sort, or happiness, like, I mean, they're not the same as regular people, so I can't say, I'm just using words to describe, but they derive some type of satisfaction or pleasure or something from being evil, from actually doing evil, because they know it's evil and it's going to be seen as evil. And because why? They hate the light, they hate God, they hate heaven, they hate life. They're actually the blackness. Believe it or not, they're out there, and some of them are the kind to come up to you and going, some good people don't have God in their heart. Okay, what do you have in your heart? How black is it? How many lies are there? Why? And I started listening to the Disney character the other day, and I did for several minutes, but then I was just like, I can't. And I had to get off of it because I kept on hearing a lot of the same themes. And what I see are people who either know way more than me, which could get you into trouble. A little bit of information can get you into a lot of trouble because a little bit of information isn't all the information. But this particular Disney character was the one that's in I think a Spanish type of speaking place. But anyway, they were talking about Christ consciousness, but then they're also talking about their sovereignty and maintaining their control and this and that. And all I can tell you is this: someone has put the fear in you to not become part of that entity. And again, entities are things that think. They have a certain level of self-awareness. They understand that they're doing this or that, even though they may not know the consequences or ramifications of it or how it's categorized. But they do know they're capable of understanding that they are doing this and or that. Like if I go and fix a cup of tea, I know I fixed a cup of tea, blah, blah, blah. It's a thinking creature. Somehow, somebody put it in them that it is, I don't know, that you're going to lose yourself, I guess, okay, by becoming part of the light, by saying, take me, body, mind, and soul. Let me be a part of you. Well, I'll put it to you like this. When the sky lifts me up and makes me sky, I feel happy. I feel good. I'm so happy with the sky and the blue. And you know what? I'm happy to know that I paid all my dues a long, long time ago. And that I paid an awful lot of dues for a lot of people that didn't take advantage of it. So I know that, yes, I can sing the blues. I have the right to. And I have the right to wear blue, royal blue. It's a nice bright color. And I know that I'm going to be very happy if I'm hanging out with just white people. A lot of times they refer to that as nowhere, I think. Where the Bee Gees were going, If that's the case, I'm sure I'll be happy there. But it sounds as though they're trying to be their own gods. Now, it's true. You're born with a certain amount of power and energy and stuff. And let me ask you this, okay? In all your sovereignty, what's your power source? Is it another being? Is it a light that you've gathered around and that you've made plans and plots against so that you can harvest their energies? Because that means you're not a god. That means you're a parasite and that you're doomed unless you change your ways. Absolutely doomed, because the light won't leave the light behind, and the white is not going to leave the white behind. Okay? It's just not what's going to happen. And, I mean, unless, we were into that and we're going to see the new world or something, but I'm not. So, whenever it all goes away and everyone's standing around either in the sun or, what's going to be your power source? What is going to protect you from all the other ones that are all gods? What's going to protect you from all those gods out there that are hungry? The bad gods. They just want to consume you and whatever you have. What is going to protect you? Are you so powerful? Do you think if I were to directly target you, that you could withstand that? Especially like, let's say I started, really trying, like because I haven't with anybody regarding anything yet. But let's say I really focused a lot of energy and time and made you a work. You going to stand up to that? No, you're not. You already know that. You already know that. So what's the problem? It's either A, you can't choose the light, and because of your darkness, and like Kid Rock said, you only have these choices for so long until you don't have those choices, because you kept on, and kept on doing all that was bad and wrong, becoming blacker and blacker and more wrong in your song. That's the only thing I can say is that there's a lot of people out there that just don't have the choice. And they weren't even willing. Now, this is the most hilarious thing to me is you don't have any choice, and you're not going to go, and you're blah, 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 and you're going to be completely and totally dependent upon what you can get from yada, yada. Any thinking people would realize, what we really do need to do at any cost, regardless of if we have to sacrifice a third of our people, is to make sure they're happy where they're at, where we want them, and to have everything they need, and have good motivations to do the things that we'd like to have them do, instead of doing the opposite of that. So all I can tell you is, right at the get-go, whenever they were talking about Christ consciousness, but yet they weren't acknowledging Christ and accepting Christ, okay? I knew, but what's wrong with that? You're trying to be Jesus, but you can't be. See, here's the problem for you guys. You think because of the words he said to his apostles, them whom did accept him as their Lord and Savior, their main guiding spirit that was going to live within them, the Holy Spirit, via the Holy Spirit, which would be him. You're thinking that what he said to them, you can do without being his, which is wrong. That's the only reason why they were so empowered to do the incredible things that he had done and more was because they were getting powered by heaven, just like him, powered by the Father. You can't decide that you're going to go up and be a magic person and be part of the darkness and expect to be able to do all Jesus things and be a God like that. No, you've given yourself over to the other side. You're only going to end up with the darkness, as the darkness, or you're going to end up in the camp of the kingdom of light and life. Or you're a recycled thing, which means you didn't make it into the kingdom of light and life, I guess, But remember, what was it George was singing for? He said, give me love, give me peace on earth, Mr. Harrison. But then, he was saying, Lord, keep me free from birth. So he could exit the death birth cycle, the recycling. And that's what we all want, However, if you do go to heaven, I don't know that any of you get to come back if you're Jesus, because I know Krishna, whenever you go with Krishna, none of those people ever come back. So I don't know that any of you come back. There's a bunch of people out there who've been acting as though they were Jews, living by the Old Testament, thinking they can just take anything from the Bible and use it like a spell against anybody they wanted to suppress, pretending that they were judges and dismissing everything that Jesus taught. And that's coming back on them. Because you don't judge the light, dumbasses. You don't sit in judgment over me. I'm light. That's part of me. Yeah, at one point it was hovering over me. I was a street light people. But Anyway, we're just meandering here. There's no point to continue any further. I wonder if I'll listen to this again. I doubt I even publish it because it's just like me going blah 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 blah. You should listen, da da da. And I'm so unmotivated, really, to speak to any of these of the other side, and because again, I've not seen the respect that's necessary, and I've seen the nefarious plans, again and again, and it's been a long time. It's like you just can't show up and go, oh, we made a mistake for 20 years in a row. It ain't the same as stepping on my toes. It's like, we stepped on your toes, and then we stomped on your foot, and then we kept doing this and that and another thing, and finally, whenever you stopped all that, then we're going to say we're sorry. Well, again, I rebuke, reject, refuse, and refute, and renounce and repudiate all that is the kingdom of darkness, all them of the kingdom of darkness, and their helpers and contractors and friends. We have no anger in us. The good light is with me instead. And so this is not a house of fire or magic of any sort. And those things have no place here. That was all eradicated and eliminated from me, along with everything that was black, all that is of the kingdom of darkness. And they have left no trace of them here and left no place here for any of that. And so our enemies can't get anything on us, and certainly even if they were, it's not staying. It's going to slide off, and obviously we're not going to be infected by any of the enemy or any of the enemy's energies or anything like that. And again, I say that in the name of, and at the same time, including the works of darkness. That's kingdom spouses. There's nothing, you can't find anything to support that in anywhere. Not in the Bible, hell, not in Catholic canon or anything, I'm sure of it. So whenever one of them saying, you Catholic girls, I'm not a Catholic. I'm a light. That doesn't mean I'm Catholic. It doesn't mean I'm staying. I'm not planning on going around it. I don't like repeating, guys. I don't like, unless it's something that's fun and happy, I don't want to repeat. This thing that they've been doing, forcing us to repeat year after year after year, saying that we're cycling or this or that or whatever, while they force this and force that and force other things. That's all in it, because no one's going to force me into anything again. They're not going to force me into a union. They're not going to force me into serving darkness in any way or caring about anyone either. You people have taught me the very last thing that you should ever do is love anyone that seriously, I was never in a real world, and I was always surrounded by other stuff, and there was no one there for me to love, no one there for me to invest in, because they weren't light. They weren't of the actual family, which is the family of light. It's the kingdom of light and life. That's what we're from. That's what we're going to. We don't have any choice in that, guys. It's like a salmon, okay? When the light was in a place, and I was not sure of whether or not they were going to stay, and they were acting like they were going to pull away from us and everything. There could have been a chance of something, but once the light came back to me and integrated with me, that was it. That's over. It's like that is, and the evil, wicked witch out in the country knew it and saw it and knew what it meant, and knew that it was, you people are going to let go. It doesn't matter what you did or what your plans are. You try to hold on to something that heaven has claimed, it's going to be a problem for you, great big huge problem. So yeah, we'd like to have our gold back. We'd like to have this rope back, because it looks like it was more than just a little bit taken. Again, so yeah, and if I'd like to look and see, oh, that's all done, that's all fixed. I have my doubts about what you guys can do, though. I really do. What about love? Well, I don't know. It seems awful complicated. Somebody needs to explain it to me, how that can work and be satisfying, and not, the death of my soul, because we're not into that. The love we need and want. I mean, I really do yearn. And Sunshine Girl, I know, knows, absolutely knows, I really want to be with them. All those God people, them that shine on me, and I go, and I feel all of that, which is me. It's like the light, more than ever before, is shining on and through and in you. It's like, wow, what do you want, Tom? That. It's like, again, once you've had opium, why would you go back to? Yes, it's addictive. I think it was, it was Korn. He said love was the last legal drug. Well, what does he mean by love? I see it as light. I see it as the blessings of heaven. I see it as our Father in heaven, Him who has no darkness within Him. It's like, how could, how things are attracted this direction because of light? Well, guess what? I'm just as attracted to the light, to that door of light I went through. Okay, and I went through that door like it was nothing. Like, I've done this before lots of times. You just meld with the light, like you're melting with this water or whatever, and you just end up on the other side of it. Just like in that story with Kurt Russell. Gate or whatever it is. No, not Gate. It's, you know what I'm saying. It was a portal. It was cool too. I floated up into it. It was cool. In other words, like I was floating up out of the water to the surface, and going through that gate of light is where I was breaking the surface and coming up out of the darkness, out of the depths of the wherever I'm at. And then next thing I know, I'm standing on my feet, strutting about, going, things are getting weird down there. They're trying to take over, and blah, 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 and just going off. And him sitting there is like listening, nodding his head, and like everything. And I'm telling him like he knows, and he's the one to report to. Like I've always known him. Like I know he's there. He's watching me. He's supposed to. We're going home. You know what? The Natural was doing, all these ball players are doing, these boys dressed in white and blue and stuff, they're always trying to, they just want to hit that home run, so they can get back to the home base, where they know everything's going to be good and they can fix your face. Okay, I guess this is going to be enough for you this will hold you for a while, won't it? Give you lots to work with? It won't be inspirational for me because I've said too much and you won't be able to. Anyway, God love you and God keep you. All that is on our side. If we were supposed to meet with somebody today, it still seems a little bit more like a war zone, just a little bit. Although I will say it does seem better. It seems like each and every day we've advanced a little bit further and things is getting better. Whenever I'm just doing this walk with the day thing and not anything else, it just seems like everything's better, so much better. Like, why wasn't it always this good? Why was I ever I said 16, 17 years ago, why do I need anybody else? If I've got Jesus, what, isn't he the one who's supposed to be my soulmate? If I've got the light, isn't that my soulmate? Isn't that the love, my love, that came down to me? Like in a Van Halen song? What else would be my love? What else would I love? Again, if there's a possibility of that kingdom where we're doing our work and we're doing this and that instead of having to cry over them, and we're working them back into we're doing conversions in that manner, I guess I could consider it. But of course, the damage is, these promises of everything being fixed. Yeah, first things first, kids. That's what I look at. Let's get the job done first of making sure this is everything we're supposed to be, so we can grow correctly, and etc. So on and so forth. Again, all of you that are loving us sincerely and are for us, I pray heaven loves you and helps you in every way. And thank you again. and I hope that we'll be shaking hands real soon.